Well, Queen's Park here today was a whole lot quieter than usual during this extended summer break. That's because politicians were at the International Plowing Match. It's an annual event, this time in Verner, Ontario. And while we haven't seen a whole lot of Premier Doug Ford around here lately, he was certainly very visible there and was asked a lot of questions about why he isn't out helping Andrew Scheer on the federal campaign trail. It's tradition. The International Plowing Match is a big deal for Ontario's MPPs to meet and greet farmers. Last year, the Premier was greeted like a rock star shortly after his sweeping victory. This year, down in successive polls, the Premier insisted all was well.
There's no doubt that we've had our little bumps. We ended up getting a tremendous amount of things done. But I have always said I don't believe in polls, right? But you see the polls. The media refuses to report on the good ones. They report on the bad ones. But the truth of the matter is the election was held today. We would win. That's not our polling. That's 3 independent polls. But we're going to continue. I always say, I'll repeat it again, the only poll that counts is on Election Day.
And yet, the federal Conservatives seem to be shunning the Premier on the campaign trail. Last week, Andrew Scheer was in Etobicoke, Doug Ford's home turf, but the Premier was nowhere to be seen. Privately, Conservatives have shared they're worried the Premier's unpopularity will damage their chances in Ontario.
Would it hurt the federal Conservatives? Well, let me say this. If the federal Conservatives have our numbers that we have today, right now, there's an extremely good chance Andrew Scheer will be the Prime Minister.
Has anyone from your team contacted Scheer's campaign, or anybody from Scheer's campaign contacted you to do any campaigning together?
No, I can't say they have, but I don't control every member throughout the province.
The Premier was also asked about his controversial anti-carbon tax stickers that he's forcing gas station owners to display in his battle against the federal Liberals. The problem is the stickers aren't sticking. An irony Doug Ford acknowledged.
You had a label company.
I know. Do you believe that? It's like the shoemaker's daughter not getting shoes. They have to pull me off the ceiling when I hear the stickers are coming off. They didn't use deco labels, that's why. But no, all joking aside, things like that happen. We'll make sure we get the proper stickers made.
Now, the Premier was also asked about the possibility of a support staff school strike by CUPE workers. He said he's still hoping for a fair deal, but wouldn't comment on whether or not he would call the legislature to prevent any kind of work stoppage.